So earnings season is ending with a bang this year, and it has been all of these quarters because of NVIDIA. It reports late, as we like to say, and so it's kind of its own standalone company out there at the very end of earnings season, along with the retailers. So I'm doing a special preview on what's going to happen with NVIDIA. What does its chart look like? And I'm going to take a look at some of its fundamentals and the price to consensus chart because we can. But is NVIDIA an earnings all-stars? I think it is. And the pressure is building. It's building on NVIDIA's management to keep beating and raising. And when they don't, which at some point they really won't be able to at some point, then what will happen to the shares? Will, we see a disappointment type of sell-off? I don't know. Nobody knows. But let's take a look at what is going on with some of the fundamentals with NVIDIA, and then we'll look at its earnings chart. So NVIDIA, it is the stock everybody wants to own. You can see up here, it is a Zacks rank number 3, which is just the hold right now. It's got the F style score for value. No surprise there, but we got the A for growth because that is what we're getting. They're beating and raising, but we now have a C for momentum. So the stock is kind of stalled, waiting for a next catalyst, if there is one, to move higher. So we've got a PE of 46. That's come down a little bit off of what it was a couple of quarters ago and is in the historical range for NVIDIA. So it's expensive, but for NVIDIA, not so much. Then you can see fiscal 2024 up 93%, and the next fiscal year up 29%. So these are just incredible numbers for a company this size. But we are expecting the growth to slow, which it should, but 29% is amazing still. And then we're going to have huge earnings growth this year. It's still at 106%. And then another 25% next year. Will we be able to get that? That would still be, again, tremendous. Now, just taking a look, this is the first time I've looked at it as an earnings preview. Nobody is raising or lowering heading into this number. So the analysts are mostly on the sidelines because the company has been beating and raising. And so you can't really keep up. But how long are they going to do that for? The analysts may be unclear as well as we are. And so they're willing to just sit on the sidelines and wait and see what happens. So they'll come in afterwards. And we can see that with 3 estimates higher in the last 60 days for this year and 4 for next year. That is left over from the prior earnings and or any kind of public interviews like Jensen Huang is doing, or investor days or things like that will cause these estimates to change. So what does it look like on the chart then? So let's take a look first at the earnings surprise, because is it an earnings all-star? Yes, it is. Only these 2 misses here in 2022, those were before AI. And this is when everybody was getting kind of bearish. So this is a 17% miss, and this is an 8% miss. And everybody thought, the good times are over with NVIDIA, which has been a cyclical play for many years. But then we suddenly had, hey, there's this AI thing going on. And then they're beating and raising, but still beating even though they raised, if that makes any sense. So the analysts just couldn't keep up with all the earnings surprises in any of these quarters. This one was a 13%, and last quarter was still 11%, even though they themselves had raised their own guidance. But up here, you can see the street is getting a little bit nervous now. Can they continue to do it? They're not concerned with the beat so much, but the raise side of things. At some point, they just might not be able to be raising. So that's where the stock is kind of on hold. But over here in 2023, even though the AI revolution was already raging and they're putting together all these big beats, the shares really went nowhere in here. So this is a real buying opportunity as it was kind of consolidating before taking off again. I did want to look at the price consensus chart, which is my favorite chart on Zacks.com, because this is going to kind of tell us what is going on with the earnings. So again, up and to the right, this is what you want to see. We do have some nice earnings growth here in between the lines. That's what it's showing. And this is this year, the next 2 years. So the analysts starting to get bullish even further out. And that's going to bring the PE down a bit if these shares stay kind of stalled. But that is what you want to see even with a growth stock. You do need some consolidation so you don't get an overstretched valuation. You need it to grow into this earnings growth and keep that PE, around its historical norm. That would be very healthy for this stock. So that's what I'm looking for. Maybe some further consolidation here in the back half of the year. Some up and down buying opportunities, perhaps. I know a lot of you got in on this big dip here that we just had over the summer of 2024. And maybe we'll see a few more like that, depending on what this report is like. So everybody's going to be tuning into NVIDIA next week, as am I. And it really will mark the end of this earnings season. We will get some fiscal earnings reports still coming in a few retailers on the very back end. We'll be getting like the Nikes of the world. They're on the fiscal calendar year. So, but it's mostly done now. And it's been a joy always to bring you all these earnings charts throughout earnings season. Be sure to get them all on our YouTube page. Go to Zacks.com/YouTube, or just put in Zacks Investment Research in the search bar. You'll get our channel. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single one of these, plus our top stock picks of the week. You don't want to miss those. And it'll just notify you when one of our new videos comes in. So how easy is that? That's the place to be. So go over to YouTube, be ready for next earnings season, because that's going to be another interesting one. And it'll be here before you know it. So I will see you then with more earnings charts.